In September 2020, RHINOstic was incorporated to revolutionize laboratory workflows. The segment of sample collection and bringing those samples into the laboratory hadn't been changed in decades, and many of the technologies and materials used in that market were antiquated and outdated. In early 2020, the world was at a loss for how to handle the pandemic, and supplies were very difficult to find, especially for sample collection. Testing was becoming imperative and swabs were in short supply. So the founders of RHINOstic worked really hard to develop novel ways to design and produce swabs rapidly. Our plan was to bring together a group of incredibly talented partners. This included Harvard University, Procter & Gamble, both Hamilton Storage and Hamilton Robotics, as well as Technomark, and others. We all came together and in a really short time applied our expertise to create, develop, and more importantly, get to market a family of swabs that could really impact the pandemic and make a difference. At RHINOstic, we offer 3 products: the GrooveSwab nasopharyngeal swab, the RHINOstic automated nasal swab, and the standard nasal swab, all of which can be used for COVID and other pathogen testing.
We developed the GrooveSwab nasopharyngeal swab at the Wyss Institute at Harvard. So after we showed that this product worked, we licensed the Grooves exclusively to RHINOstic. And really it was inspired by a cat tongue. Cat tongues are really good at picking up liquids and releasing them very quickly as a result of these spikes called papillae. And so we first prototyped very quickly with 3D printers, evaluated it with our clinical partners, and then in 2 months we were able to actually test it in the clinic. And so that process resulted in a swab that was made out of polypropylene. It was made with one-shot injection molding. There's a non-absorbent swab and the stack ring structure, which is sort of the analog of the cat spikes. A convenient snap point allows the swab to fit into cryotubes or any other collection tube for dry transport. The novel swab head is configured as a stacked ring structure that allows for more efficient, comfortable sample collection, as well as faster release into collection media compared to traditional swabs. So I'm just really proud of our team. What we were able to accomplish in just 2 months, starting from 3D printed design all the way to the first clinical trials, it's just unheard of under normal circumstances. I think everybody realized that everybody needs to step up and collaborate with the major pandemic that was on our hands. And the results that we were able to publish using the Groove swabs showed that the swab head and the nasopharyngeal swab itself are just excellent at picking up patient RNA and using that for diagnostics. We also were able to find out that patients strongly prefer the Groove swab, which is much more comfortable than other nasopharyngeal swabs.
It's not enough to make a better swab, but we had to address the throughput limitations, as these are a significant bottleneck in diagnostic testing. RT-PCR is the gold standard, but it's fairly cumbersome with very specialized equipment. So the founders of the technology, Mike Springer and Richard Novak, took the best of the Groove swab, and they combined this with a working end that can interact with the Hamilton Robotic Lab Elite decapper. This is the first swab that was developed specifically for automating laboratory workflows, and it increases sample processing by 10-fold. So a traditional laboratory that is testing 15,000 samples per day in a manual way will require about 70 people. With the RHINOstic automated nasal swab, you can process the same number of samples with about 7 people. It also creates scalable solutions where if one day you have 5,000 samples and the next day you have 20,000 samples, you're able to use the same staff and same equipment, creating a lot of flexibility for your workflows. Our partners played a huge role in developing the products at RHINOstic. Procter & Gamble put together their Force for Good, which was a group of 7 very talented members of their team with widely different expertise. They all came together to very rapidly create our standard nasal swab.
Influx is a wholly owned subsidiary of P&G. We have a mold building and innovation center, and that combination of skills, both process expertise and the ability to design and build molds, really made us uniquely designed to step in and provide some help in the area of potentially designing and creating a supply chain for nasal swabs.
The plastic nasal swabs do not absorb material, and because they're hydrophobic, they release material very quickly. And this is in very sharp contrast with the industry standard of flock swabs, which are both hydrophilic and hold on to material and also can contaminate samples. Technomark was chosen as a leading manufacturer to make the standard nasal swabs and automated nasal swabs on behalf of RHINOstic. And RHINOstic was award an exclusive license from Procter & Gamble to take the standard nasal swab to market on a global basis. RHINOstics is well positioned to completely revolutionize sample collection and laboratory testing. And we know that this will have a big impact on human health, clinical research, diagnostic testing on a global basis. We're really proud to be part of the team with all of our partners that have created and brought these technologies to market.